Hello and welcome to VistaTalks, interesting discussions with interesting people from all around the world. I'm your host for today, Priscillia, and I'm joined today and delighted to be joined by, in Studio 2, very special studio by Dominika and Agostino and Michael J. Asquith. Welcome to you both. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Glad to be here.
Priscillia.
Thanks, Priscillia.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Dominika is a Strategy Accounts Director at Vistatec, and Michael is a Global Solutions Executive at Vistatec also. So let's move on and start with the show. So I'm both going to ask you a couple of questions. First of all, I would like you to share both with our audience a little bit of information about yourselves, your background, and how you came to be interested in the localization industry.
Sure. So let me start. So I was actually born and raised in Warsaw, Poland, and I have already come from a linguistic background there. I was studying English, Spanish, and French linguistics, actually, and had a chance to spend a year in Barcelona, in Spain as well. So kind of naturally, I became a freelance translator, but also worked for a variety of non-for-profit organizations. So this kind of was always on my radar, both translations, but also organizing events and being more out there with people. And it seemed like a career in localization would kind of merge both, both the extrovert and the introvert in me. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, no, I can't really compete with Domi's, woodsy background. She looks like she's comfortable in the woods, which is fantastic. But yeah, no, my background specifically, it was started out in the financial industry and helping brokerage companies go global, or ones that were already global that were kind of doing, originally it was like software and being able to access the markets globally. And then, kind of by accident, in some ways, just because of my intrigue with different cultures, different people, decided to kind of take a leap from the financial industry into translation and localization more on the global business side. And then things progressed from there, just that's where I kind of learned a lot about cultures from the financial industry going into the localization industry. So, but yeah, I think that, what was the question?
The question which led to a great answer was knowing about your background, and obviously there was always a keen interest in business, I understand, which makes sense. So thank you so much. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the both of you being involved in the Think Global Forum. So as some of our audience know, the Think Global Forum is a community started back in 2016 that gathers many industries and numerous professionals in the form of events, but also obviously an online community. And both of you are involved as Global Awareness Directors, which is fantastic. We're delighted to have you in the team. Now, you're leading the expansion of the community, and I'd like you to tell me a little bit more about your roles and what does this mean to you. So Dominika, can you tell me a little bit about this, please?
Sure. So I'm really delighted to have joined the Think Global Forum. And originally we joined kind of the team thinking about organizing thought leadership events in the US and also in Canada. So also Canada kind of came up as one of the places where Think Global Forum has never been before. So even though we had several events taking place across the USA and of course in Europe, we can see a growing interest and enthusiasm for the initiative also here. And, we are delighted to be planning a Think Global Forum in Toronto. Hopefully sometime this year. The global situation right now is not very stable, so we cannot unfortunately set a date yet, but we already started kind of working with various organizations and making sure that, this forum will be as great as any of the events that are taking place in Europe. So I'm really happy to be the Global Awareness Director.
Thank you so much. And what about you, Michael? Tell us a little bit about your perspective.
Yeah, no, I think bringing awareness to the organization and kind of the objectives that we're trying to again using the word awareness, but bring awareness to different topics, global topics, discuss with thought leadership specifically about some of the challenges that their organizations are having. I think I've had a lot of opportunities, especially I think all of us have to really think about things on a global scale with everything going with COVID-19. And I think the impact that it'll have, post COVID-19 on some of those subjects, I think it will be interesting to see how business evolves from what's kind of going on. So I think it's a great time to be involved in something like Think Global Forum, because I suspect that we'll see a lot more coming out of it in the coming weeks and months. That should really make for interesting topics and discussions.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. Especially the new location that the Think Global Forum will be hosting an event to. Dominika mentioned it in a few months, hopefully, or for sure in the near future, at least. It is for sure on the list and plan, and we are looking forward to hosting this with the two of you. So stay tuned for more events. We'll
at least maybe some baseball by that point, I'm hoping. So.
It will take place for sure. Now, I'd like to talk about the theme of this new event, but also about the importance of sustainability. Michael, I understand that we discussed this sometime recently about a lot of organizations being focused on sustainability. Can you share your thoughts about the impact of sustainability and social responsibility on the global scale for multinational organizations?
Yeah, I think more now than ever. I think it's a major focus. Because there's the pillars, there's economic, environmental, and social. So I think that in those particular situations, with everything going on, you're going to see that even more so. I think that there's some great stories. Right now, every day you're reading some positive news about organizations coming together and working on, whether it's masks or ventilators. And I think that's, those types of causes, whether it be the immediate, like what's going on right now, or whether it be like the overall long term. I think there's so many things to get involved with. I've seen using an example, kind of read something about Canada Goose as an example, and Canada Goose obviously was doing a lot of things with polar bears and specifically trying to help with polar bears. And then once this kind of happened with COVID-19, now you see Canada Goose and their factories being used along with like Gap and other organizations out there to create, things for the cause with COVID-19. So, making those factories develop, in this particular case, gowns and masks. So I think that's where, this evolution will continue. And I think that there'll be different causes in the future. But I love to see people rallying to causes like that.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. Do you know of any other initiatives that you would have heard, Dominika, in your area in the United States? There's so many fantastic initiatives in the current and very unfortunate situation that we're going through from companies.
Exactly. So I'm based actually 3.5 hours from Toronto in Detroit, which is the mecca of the automotive industry, as you know. And there are some incredible initiatives, by various brands. For example, Ford is working with GE on building ventilators. General Motors have also redesigned their whole factories to be able to kind of tackle the challenges of the current crisis. But also brands, very local Detroit brands like Carhartt, for example, who is heavy equipment and clothing brand, is also changing their production to producing gowns and masks. So it's very, I think, important and interesting, and we're really looking forward to meeting, the professionals from both my local area and the Toronto area soon, and being able to talk about all these innovations and how they see the situation developing in the future. Absolutely. And what are the future trends. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to discuss a little bit about your current roles. And so, as we mentioned, Dominika, you're a strategy accounts director at Vistatec, and Michael, you're a global solutions executive. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your current roles, what it means to you to be part of Vistatec?
Yeah, I think it's a very dynamic role, and I think that's what's wonderful about being in a role like the ones that both Domi and I are in, being a part of the broader team. I think it kind of extends to like some of the objectives and some of the things that we're doing or wanting to do at Think Global Forum. Not really so much on the sales and marketing side, but really just learning more about organizations' challenges. When it comes to global business and what kind of shapes those kinds of decisions. I think, learning more about that, building relationships and being able to collaborate and tackle things, much more from a 50,000-foot view, I think is got a lot of value to it, and it brings a lot of value into our roles at Vistatec. It kind of helps to mold us a lot better as we work with clients and develop, enterprise localization programs.
Thank you, Michael. What about you, Dominika?
Yeah, so my role is slightly different than Michael's. I'm mostly focused on our existing customers that come from a wide array of verticals. It's technology companies, infrastructure, consumer electronics. And basically my goal is to make sure that, as the companies are growing, we are growing with them, and that we kind of foster that growth and make sure that they are successful globally on international markets. And I also have a small business development goal, which I love as well, because it gives me a chance to kind of come up with new solutions and have new interesting conversations about, the future of the industry and the localization programs.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think, and if I could kind of chime into what Domi was saying too, I think, one of the things that we're hoping to focus on at the next Think Global Forum is also user experience and customer experience. And I think both of our roles, have a lot to do with that. I think being a part of Think Global Forum allows us to produce, a more robust kind of customer experience and user experience as well at Vistatec. So I think there's so many, good overlaps there that really help us in those arenas.
Absolutely, understanding global organizations' needs first of all, and continuing the discussion. Absolutely. Now, your commercial experience both is very wide. You both have a fantastic career. You've had a fantastic career before joining Vistatec, and that includes so many different industries. Dominika, I understand that you mentioned you worked in localization, project management, and sales, and you, Michael, customer-centric selling, marketing, and finance. So now, can you tell us a little bit more about the importance and what we do in relation to these areas, the both of you?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I believe that thanks to my background, I've seen all sides of our business. So both working as a freelance translator and for various brands, and then coordinating projects for some of the biggest customers as well. So as well in my sales experience, I try to be very hands-on and know the ins and outs and all the tricks of the trade. And I think this allows me to set more realistic expectations for our customers that the project managers at Vistatec usually like to exceed, which I think is the trend right now. So what I love in Vistatec is that, from localization standpoint, that we are always very well prepared for new challenges. So we always try to recruit, a team that is dedicated to a given customer and make sure that these professionals will, be the guardians of the consistency, the quality, and tone and voice of the brand. And I think that's what's great.
Thank you. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, no, I think at Vistatec, not only do we, have these rich backgrounds as individuals, but I think when you put those things together, I think it really gives us so much insight into how the industry has changed over the years. Yes. And I think it kind of helps us to think more proactively and help clients think more proactively. I definitely, that's one of the things I love is that, learning from peers, with those different experiences,
Yes.
it takes it to a whole new level. And my background, with localization the past decade plus has been with working for Asian-based localization companies. So now I work for one that's, Europe-based, but is also multinational. And I think that, that adds to kind of the, rich tapestry of the situation. So yeah, I think in those cases, my thinking with Vistatec is like the wealth of knowledge, without it being like a little bit of a sales pitch, is the wealth of knowledge is incredible. And I think that that's what really helps with Think Global Forum, and also helps with a lot of our iconic brands that we work with.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And speaking of Vistatec's core values, is this wealth of knowledge and this dynamic environment, and that really motivates you? Like, what do you like the most about working at Vistatec?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, apart from talking to people and talking to our customers, I also love that we have this very dynamic team, which is, a sales solutions architecture marketing team, and that I can still learn so much. Everybody is very thoughtful, is approaching our business from different angles, and to be able to brainstorm and speak on a regular basis is like the biggest, I think, advantage for me. Yeah.
Thanks. What about you, Michael?
I think keeping things positive, especially, not to again, talk about our good COVID-19 situation, but it just kind of really I think it really kind of personifies or showcases who we are as an organization, just because I think everybody's keeping positive, they're looking for creative ways, they're thinking about what's next.
Yes.
They're not, they're stuck in place. Like I find, myself, it's inspiring for me to then, be looking for ways to innovate, and then, help, from that innovation, hopefully compel individuals to want to speak with us or collaborate together.
Being proactive, exactly. Yes. Thank you, Michael. Thanks. And so we're talking about the company, the values, the way that Vistatec is operating now. Have you identified any trends? It's the two of you having so much experience and being in contact with various global organizations that seem to be making a difference currently for those big global organizations.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Domi.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, there are two trends that have been most predominant recently. So one of them is the multilingual content development. We are seeing more and more that companies, apart from wanting their global content to be translated or sometimes transcreated, they are also looking for copywriting services and for some like authoring talent that would be supporting them within the markets, which is very interesting. And I think the other thing that we see so often that kind of ties into it a little bit is AI. So all the efforts in the artificial intelligence and what it means for the future of our world and our industry. So how it will be transforming roles and responsibilities and, skills and perspectives of many people. And in the end, it will be the people who will have to work with the machines and kind of make sure that the automated processes are working correctly. So yeah, what it means to make the AI work for us instead of the other way around. Yeah.
Thank you, Dominika.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree with Domi. I mean, without being too buzzy, I think the AI, machine learning, and how that's kind of being incorporated into, workflows and in the localization process. I think that that's definitely, big with the trends. I think that there's, a lot of the other things that we've kind of touched on that we plan on talking about at Think Global Forum is I see a lot of trends, again, with sustainability and social responsibility. And I see it more like whether it's G local or whether it's, something that's more global. It doesn't really matter. I see people thinking a lot more about, the individuals that they're, trying to attract attention from, or positive attention from, or get that brand loyalty from. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think to your point, Michael, it's right now everything is around user experience and delivering experiences that are very personal and authentic, but also locally relevant, right?
I think the personal and the authentic is like an excellent, awesome point.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think personalization is so big, and being, that authenticity, and really, just realizing or finding like-minded kind of organizations to philosophically kind of align with, I think is really important these days as well.
Absolutely. Well, thanks to you both. Now we're talking about user experience and the importance of, well, it's not even a trend, it's just a requirement now those days, really, from organizations. Do you think this is part of the key decision, like this is the criteria really that make global clients work with Vistatec, for instance, from your, daily experience, working with global organizations?
I think both of us can kind of speak to that, because I think anytime we have a client that is an enterprise level kind of localization program, it's a partner that we work with for years and years and years, you get to see how things progress, kind of incorporating KPIs, into the situation so that you're measuring success is super important. But yeah, I think it's all ties into that user experience and customer experience. And without, again, sounding too buzzy, those things are what really differentiate organizations these days, period. I've always been 100% a big believer in that. And I think working at other organizations and then coming to Vistatec, it's even opened my eyes even more. Like, those were things I always wanted to do more or push more with the companies that I was working within at the time. And I think that, when people kind of go through their daily grind, especially if the company is a little bit less mature, then they tend to, sometimes overlook the importance behind those things. So I think that's where Vistatec comes into play. And I think that's where, any organization that is really starting to, where I believe they get it. I think that's what they're focused on.
Thanks, Michael. What about you, Dominika? Have you noticed like anything specific that comes to mind when you think of whether it's new clients or clients have been working with Vistatec for the past 23 years now, who would choose Vistatec, for all our different values, but also extra criteria that makes the difference, really.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's this personalized approach to doing business and kind of tailoring every program that we create for our customers to their needs so that they can scale up as they are growing internationally, and we are able to kind of step up to the challenge whenever they also, innovate and try to change their processes and their tools. So I think that's very important. And the other thing that comes to mind is Vistatec's transparency and, a real focus on quality, consistency, and just being straight with our customers. Yeah. So I think those two things are what is really important. And perhaps I would add a third one, since our chief technology, officer is such an amazing thought leader in the industry. I think that this true technology agnosticism is what really differentiates us in the market, and that allows us to come up with those technology and bespoke solutions. Companies just know that they are dealing with reliable experts, and that's key.
Absolutely, yeah. I suppose, it is really key. And our Chief Technology Officer, Phil Ritchie, who also has his very own blog series called Where's Phil? So do not miss the chance to catch the next Where's Phil blog post on the Vistatec blog. And the episode 3 is coming soon. So thank you very much.
Shameless plug, right? So yeah, no, it's perfect.
Now I'd just like to finish the interview with any other project that you'll both be working on, or any secret project that our audience would be discovering, on the interview, or something you'd like to just share with us today.
Domi's like, I don't want to take this one. No,
Or nothing at the moment.
yeah, no, I don't. There's no secret project. I think, the only kind of thing that I think is interesting, especially about the now, looking at, some kind of, light, in this kind of strange time, is that I feel like the companies, and I think people, and I think are coming together to reinvent themselves a bit, during kind of this market change. And I think that's only going to make things like customer experience, user experience, social responsibility, sustainability, all that stuff is going to become even more important. And that's who you as a buyer are going to want to buy from organizations that obviously put those things at the forefront and make those things a priority at the organization. So, yeah, I think it really builds Vistatec culture, but also I think it's a big part of the Think Global Forum culture. So I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and from my side, I think what I've seen in the last weeks, that have been difficult for some of the companies, it's a larger focus on the digital and, for example, website localization. So this is the moment when the brands are actually thinking, okay, since we only have access to digital sales, right, and we have to focus on our websites and have to make sure that it's available to other markets and new languages. And we have been actually helping a lot of the existing, but also some of the new customers in, thinking about the strategy of internationalizing their website and thinking about the future growth as well.
I just wanted to kind of mention too, or I kind of ask you about, and maybe Priscillia, you've seen some things there too from a perspective, is have you noticed different companies, especially the past month, looking for ways to help with COVID-19, and then find creative ways to help, and I think just to give it kind of a story, is like I had one client yesterday, we're trying to figure out maybe there's a project we can work on together, and then it was for educating kids and parents about cybersecurity during this time where everybody's working from home. And I think, finding ways to then do projects like that in this time of need, and then do it, in a way that's, not going to be profitable, but more is just about the cause.
Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of interesting kind of things like this? And is there any stories like that you can think of? Because I'm always looking for ideas myself. So,
yes.
And I think it's always cool to talk to clients about these types of ideas.
Yes, absolutely. I think. Oh, sorry, Dominika. I think all around the world at the moment, the world is, how to say, everybody is, uniting really forces. Everybody is. You really see the sense of community, I think, at its very best, and you see fantastic initiatives. You see the human side really of people, and everybody's helping each other. We see, whether it is here in Ireland, or I'm sure in the United States and everywhere that is unfortunately impacted by this terrible situation, initiatives of companies trying to help, whether it's in the localization industry by translating, content that would, highlight the importance, of, washing your hands, wearing a mask, helping people who are in more difficult situation, providing, food or help, for people who can't really leave their house. So you see fantastic initiatives all around the world, and in this sense, I'm sure that a lot of global organizations would keep on working and find the best solutions, to help people in need in this time of crisis, whom of course we hope will end as soon as possible.
Yeah, you're right. And we have multiple examples. I think only this morning I saw that actually the company Ceridian gave access to all their learning materials on COVID-19. You can register on their website and they have very informative videos and kind of the whole support. But then I think it's also important, like all those entertainment initiatives, to take our minds a little bit.
Absolutely.
A grim situation. And I have an example from an existing customer of ours who is a consumer electronics company, very focused on travel, adventure, kind of outdoor lifestyle that we cannot have right now. And they are reimagining themselves into, having, for example, contests for potential customers or people who want to win their products to make videos at home and submit them, to their website and kind of maybe put a smile on somebody's face and their mind a little bit elsewhere. So
it's really important, at the moment, I think so, Keep the positivity in the darkest times. Yes. Well, thank you so much to both of you. It was fantastic to have you on the show today. Really appreciate your time and sharing your thoughts, about the future, of the community, the Think Global Forum, your current roles in Vistatec. We look forward to hearing from you soon and seeing you in Toronto, hopefully in the near future. Awesome. I'm sure our audience would be delighted to see pictures and follow you, and it is the end of today's show, unfortunately. So again, Michael and Dominika, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Please make sure to tune in again to see or listen to the next VistaTalks episode for more interesting discussions with interesting people from all around the world.